Have you ever found yourself procrastinating on something important, knowing exactly what you need to do, but just can't seem to get yourself to do it? This is more common than we realize. Often, we feel like we need to be fully prepared or wait for the right moment to act. But in reality, the secret to getting started is not in waiting for motivation, it's in deciding to take action, regardless of how we feel. If you're waiting to feel inspired or motivated before taking the first step, you're probably holding on to an idea that isn't true. Motivation doesn't come before action, it comes after. Louise Hay always taught us that true transformation begins with movement. When we take that first step, even without feeling totally ready, motivation and clarity begin to show up. Have you ever thought about that? Procrastination is not just about laziness, but about a subtle fear that keeps us from moving. The good news is that you have the power to change this now, and it doesn't have to be a huge leap. Small steps, taken consistently, can lead to extraordinary results. Think of your life as a river flowing. The water only moves when the river is moving, right? If you stand still waiting, the water won't go anywhere. Similarly, your life will only move forward when you decide to take action. And once you act, you'll notice that the path ahead starts to reveal itself, even if you didn't see all the possibilities before. With each step, new opportunities arise. What once seemed distant and difficult begins to feel possible. You might be wondering, but what if I fail? What if things don't go as I expect? Louise Hay reminds us that failure is not the end, but a lesson. Every step, even if it's not perfect, is a chance to learn, to grow, and to adjust course. The real failure happens when you choose not to try. Now, stop and think about something you know you need to do, but haven't taken action on yet. What's holding you back? Often, fear is just an illusion. When you choose to face that fear with action, it loses its power. So, why wait? Action is the key to unlocking your potential and starting to build the future you want. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. If fear wasn't in the way, what would be stopping you from starting right now? Write your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Fear. It's something we all experience, and yet it often holds us back from taking the steps we know we need to take. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. These are just some of the fears that can paralyze us. Louise Hay often spoke about the power of self-love and the importance of trusting ourselves. When we face our fears with self-compassion and courage, we can overcome them. It's not that fear disappears, but rather that it no longer controls us. Fear will always try to make us hesitate, to tell us we're not ready or that we're not enough. But when we take action, even in the presence of fear, we diminish its power. Think about the last time you were afraid to do something, yet you did it anyway. Maybe it was something small, like speaking up in a meeting, or something bigger, like starting a new project. How did you feel afterward? Often, fear seems much bigger when we imagine it, but when we face it, it loses its grip on us. Now ask yourself, what is the fear that's holding you back from taking action? Maybe it's a fear of not being successful, or a fear of what others will think. Whatever it is, know that fear can only control you if you let it. As Louise Hay taught, the key to overcoming fear is to love yourself enough to act, even when you're afraid. Action brings clarity, and clarity brings confidence. What if you could take one small step today, despite the fear? Just one action that pushes you closer to your goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to solve everything, but it will be a step in the right direction. And with each step you take, you will begin to see that the fear doesn't have as much power over you as you once thought. Fear also becomes smaller the more you face it. The first step is always the hardest, but once you push through that, you'll find that it gets easier with each new step. Just like a muscle, Your ability to face fear and continue moving forward grows stronger with practice. You might even reach a point where you no longer hesitate because you've learned how to work with the fear rather than be paralyzed by it. So, let's reflect. What would it feel like to act in the face of fear? To take just one small step toward the life you want, even if fear is there? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're overcoming fear and what steps you're taking. How often do you tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? How many times has tomorrow turned into next week, next month, or even next year? Before you know, it states time has slipped away, and those unfulfilled plans continue to pile up. The truth is, the perfect moment you're waiting for doesn't exist. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can take control of your life. Procrastination is a silent thief. It disguises itself as preparation, perfectionism, or the need for ideal conditions. We tell ourselves we need more time, more knowledge, or more confidence. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Every delay strengthens the habit of inaction. Louise Hay emphasized the importance of taking action, no matter how small. The first step is always the hardest, but once you push through it, everything becomes easier. This is the power of momentum. Once you begin, you're more likely to keep going. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making the moment perfect by taking action. What if you just committed to working on something for just 5 minutes? No pressure, no overthinking. Once you start, you may find that you keep going. Momentum will take over. What once seemed like an overwhelming task can become manageable and achievable with just one small step. The hardest part is getting started. Procrastination thrives on hesitation. The longer you put something off, the more it grows in your mind. It seems impossible, and you begin to doubt your ability to accomplish it. But when you break that mental barrier by taking action, you'll be surprised at how quickly things begin to fall into place. This is why Louise Hay always said, the first step is the hardest, but once you take it, you'll begin to move forward with more clarity and confidence. Have you ever experienced the feeling of having a huge task ahead, only to find that once you start, it's not as difficult as you thought? Often, our minds make the task seem much bigger than it really is. The more we hesitate, the more overwhelming it becomes. But once we start, the task becomes easier and more manageable. The key is to stop thinking and start doing. So, what's one thing you've been procrastinating on that you can take action on today, no matter how small? It could be as simple as making a phone call, writing 1 paragraph, or taking the first step toward a new project. The key is to get started. Remember, perfection is not the goal. The goal is progress, and progress begins with action. Start small and let momentum build. By taking action, you're not only moving closer to your goals, but you're also building a habit of consistency. As Louise Hay taught, every small action compounds over time. When you make a habit of acting, even when you don't feel like it, you create a foundation for success. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I'd love to know what step you're going to take. What is one task you'll tackle today? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Let's hold each other accountable and make progress together. Self-discipline isn't about forcing yourself to suffer or making life harder than it needs to be. It's about creating habits that work in your favor, even when motivation isn't there. It's about showing up for yourself, no matter how you feel. Louise Hay taught us that discipline is not a punishment, but a gift to yourself, a form of self-love that leads to lasting transformation. Think of discipline like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. It's about training yourself to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's not about waiting for the perfect mood or waiting until everything is just right. It's about showing up, even when it's difficult, and trusting that the rewards will come. A great way to start building discipline is by committing to small, daily actions. These don't have to be huge or perfect. They just need to be consistent, whether it's waking up at the same time every day, spending 5 minutes on a task you've been avoiding, or following through with a commitment you made to yourself. Each small action builds a foundation for greater success. Many people fail at self-discipline because they try to make drastic changes all at once. They set goals that are too big, too overwhelming, and when they don't achieve them immediately, they give up. But the secret to success is not about achieving everything in one giant leap. It's about taking consistent steps every day, and even when it feels hard. Self-discipline is also about setting clear boundaries with yourself. For example, setting a specific time to work on your goals and sticking to it, no matter what. These boundaries create a structure that helps you stay focused and productive. Louise Hay often said that when you love yourself, you respect your own boundaries. And respecting your boundaries means doing what you said you would do, even when it's challenging. When you build self-discipline, you create a deep sense of trust with yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable, reliable, and committed to your own growth. This trust is the foundation of confidence. The more you show up for yourself, the more you start to believe in your own ability to succeed. The road to lasting success is paved with small, consistent actions. It's not about perfection or trying to be the best. It's about being consistent, being patient with yourself, and trusting the process. And remember, discipline is not about denying yourself pleasure or pushing yourself too hard. It's about making choices that align with your values and your long-term vision. So, what's one area in your life where you can start building more self-discipline? It could be as simple as setting a time to work on a project each day or creating a routine that supports your well-being. Start small, but start today. And if this resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How are you building discipline in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Pain is inevitable in life. Everyone experiences it, whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, or the pain of failure. But what if I told you that pain doesn't have to be something that breaks you? In fact, pain can be the very thing that pushes you forward if you allow it to. Louise Hay always emphasized the power of using life's challenges as stepping stones to greater growth. Pain is often viewed as something to avoid. We do everything we can to escape discomfort, whether through distractions, avoidance, or even self-sabotage. But what if we reframed pain as a teacher instead of an enemy? What if we saw it as a guide, showing us where we need to grow and evolve? When you face pain, you have two choices. You can let it defeat you, or you can use it to fuel your growth. Every successful person has faced setbacks, failures, and rejection. What separates them from those who give up is their ability to turn those painful moments into opportunities. Pain doesn't define who you are. How you respond to it does. Think about someone you admire. They've likely encountered their own struggles and pain, yet they still rose above it. Why? Because they chose to use their pain as fuel for their success. Pain can refine you, it can make you stronger, and it can deepen your purpose. It's through adversity that we often find our greatest strengths. For example, when a person goes through a difficult breakup, it's painful, but that pain can become a catalyst for personal growth. It can lead to self-discovery, greater resilience, and the realization that you are capable of more than you thought. The same goes for any challenge in life. When you face it head-on, you not only overcome it but also learn from it. Pain can be a powerful motivator. Think of it as fire that burns away the things that no longer serve you, leaving only what's important. The lessons you learn from pain will help you grow into a stronger, wiser person. Every setback is an opportunity to come back stronger, just as a muscle grows stronger after being stretched. Louise Hay taught that your thoughts create your reality. If you allow pain to dictate your future, it will hold you back. But if you choose to see pain as part of your journey, you can move through it with grace and resilience. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but about embracing it and learning from it. So, how can you use pain to fuel your growth? Maybe it's a failure you experienced that you can turn into a lesson. Or maybe it's a current struggle that, instead of letting it defeat you, you can use it as a stepping stone to become stronger. Pain doesn't have to hold you back. It can propel you forward if you choose to let it. Reflect on this. What pain are you experiencing right now that you can transform into strength? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're using adversity as fuel to push forward. Success doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Without clear goals, you're simply drifting through life, reacting to whatever comes your way. But when you set clear, actionable goals, you create a roadmap that leads you to your desired future. Louise Hay taught us the power of intention and how setting goals is one of the most effective ways to manifest the life we want. Setting goals is about more than just writing down what you want to achieve. It's about clarifying your vision for the future and breaking it down into manageable steps. When you have a clear goal, you can focus your energy on what truly matters and avoid distractions that lead you off course. Think about a time in your life when you accomplished something you were really proud of. Maybe it was a promotion at work, running a marathon, or even completing a project you'd been working on for months. What made that success possible? Chances are it was because you had a clear goal in mind. You knew what you wanted, and you worked toward it with determination. Now, ask yourself, do you have clear goals right now? If not, what would it feel like to set a clear, actionable goal for yourself? The key is to make your goals specific, measurable, and achievable. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, try saying, I want to launch my own business by the end of this year. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, say, I want to exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. The more specific you are, the easier it will be to take action. But setting goals is only half the battle. The other half is taking consistent action toward them. Louise Hay always emphasized the importance of taking one step at a time. You don't need to have everything figured out right away. What matters is that you keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps are. Once you've set your goals, break them down into smaller tasks that you can tackle every day. This makes the process feel less overwhelming and more achievable. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you're moving closer to your goal, and the more you act, the clearer your path will become. It's also important to track your progress. Write down your goals and review them regularly. Celebrate the small wins along the way, as they'll keep you motivated and remind you that you're on the right path. Remember, success isn't just about the destination. It's about the journey and the progress you make every day. So let's reflect. What is one clear goal you want to set for yourself? What's the first step you can take today to move closer to that goal? Write it down and take action. Your future is created by what you do today. I'd love to hear what goal you're setting for yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's support each other on this journey. Failure is something most of us fear. The very idea of not succeeding can be terrifying, especially when we invest so much time and energy into a goal. But Louise Hay often reminded us that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Failure isn't something to run from. It's a stepping stone, a lesson that helps guide us toward the right path. When we fail, it's easy to feel discouraged and defeated. But in reality, failure is often the best teacher we can have. It shows us where we need to improve, where our approach might be wrong, and where we need to adjust. Think about any success story you know. The people we admire, the ones who have achieved great things, have likely experienced far more failures than we realize. What set them apart is their ability to learn from those failures, to keep going despite the setbacks. Failure is not a reflection of who you are. It's simply feedback. Feedback on what doesn't work, what needs to be refined, or what requires a different approach. When we see failure this way, it loses its power to discourage us. Instead, it becomes a valuable tool in our journey to success. For example, think about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. Yet, he never saw his failures as defeats. Instead, he viewed them as opportunities to learn. Every failure brought him closer to success because each one taught him something new. So, when you fail, don't be hard on yourself. Instead of focusing on the disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What's the lesson here? This shift in perspective can transform how we view setbacks. Rather than seeing them as dead ends, we can view them as signs that we're growing, that we're pushing ourselves outside our comfort zones. It's important to remember that growth doesn't happen in the absence of mistakes. Growth happens through the process of trial and error. We must be willing to try, to fail, and to learn in order to grow. Each failure brings us one step closer to success. As Louise Hay wisely said, there are no mistakes, only lessons. If we take that to heart, we can begin to embrace failure as an essential part of the process, not something to avoid or fear. So, I want you to reflect on this. What is one failure you've experienced that has taught you something valuable? How did it help you grow? Think about it and share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've turned setbacks into opportunities for growth. Right now, you have a choice. You can keep waiting, hesitating, and making excuses, or you can decide that today is the day everything changes, the day you stop talking and start doing. No more waiting, no more procrastinating, just action. Because action is the only thing that will get you where you want to be. Success doesn't come from wishing, hoping, or dreaming. It comes from doing. Dreams remain dreams unless they are backed by effort and persistence. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or a sign to begin. But waiting won't bring results. The only way forward is to take that first step, no matter how small. What happens when you make the decision to act today? Everything begins to change. As Louise Hay taught, taking action is the foundation of transformation. It's not about waiting for the stars to align or for the moment to feel just right. It's about deciding that now is the right time to move forward. And when you make that decision, you open the door to new possibilities. Take control of your life by taking action now. Every successful person you admire reached their goals, not because they waited for the perfect moment, but because they acted despite uncertainty, fear, and discomfort. They took that first step, even when they weren't sure of the outcome, and through their actions, they created the opportunities they needed. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to begin. Action creates momentum, and momentum fuels progress. The more you act, the clearer your path will become. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Motivation follows movement. The more you move, the more motivated you'll feel. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? What is one small action you can take today to get closer to your goal? Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now. If something in this video resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you feel ready to take that first step, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're in this journey together, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Let's take action and create the life we truly desire.